Welcome everybody to another Community Fit, and in particular a midweek desk stretch class, which is really all about embodiment. So it's a movement class, it's a stretchy class, and I'm your host, James. I dropped into the chat a little bit ago. Are there any special requests? And so far there aren't any. So it looks like we're doing a dealer's choice day today. So I think last week we spent a lot of time in upper body. We'll revisit some upper body. What do we got? Neck, please. Great. So we'll get some neck stuff in, and we're going to sort of just do a whole body thing. To preserve time and sort of to honor our time, I'll now be coming on just a few minutes early. So if you have special requests, we're going to really start asking for those at around, so this class starts at like 12:15, so between 12:13, 12:14-ish, and then we'll drop it in IT band. Okay, so we've got some leg stuff in there today. Like I said, we're just going to do a general overview thing. If you are someone who has a special request in the future, join us just a couple of minutes early, and we're going to collect those so that we can jump right into the practice when it starts. So here we go. As always, we start off with our nervous system work. If you enjoy the nervous system work, please join us on Fridays for CommunityFIT, all about nervous system coaching. In the months of April and May, we're really diving into mental health. This month in particular, really discussing some mindfulness strategies for stress, and then really expanding that definition in May and wrapping it all up in June, just like we will be this class. So nervous system work for today. We're going to start off with just an exaggerated exhale. We're going super fundamental with this. Short inhale, long exaggerated exhalation. The ask is for you to do 5. So short, quick inhale, exaggerated exhale. 4 more. Breathe. Last couple. One more. And then just begin to look around your space, orientation practice, and just begin to objectively versus subjectively name the things in your space. What that might sound like. In this space, that would go a lot like there's a window, and outside of the window, there's another house, and there's a tree, and there's grass, and cement, and then there's a wall here, and a plant, and some pillows. There's a dog down here. I see a chair. I see me, the floor. So you're just going through and naming the things in the room in the way that we could all name things in the room, versus things that are out of place, or stuff that needs to be picked up, or thing that I'm late on doing, or object I really love, or object, whatever it is. Just instead, just noticing and naming the things in your space. What's above you, what's behind you, below you, and maybe even coupling that with that exaggerated exhale. Just looking around the space. And then let's jump into the practice. Now, if the practice stirs something up for you, pain-wise, emotional-wise, whatever it is, you always have these nervous system things to kind of go back to. They're grounding or settling practices. So for today, let's bring the hands together, get them warmed up. And we're going to take our nice warm hands, we're going to place them onto the jawline. And I'm kind of pushing in and dragging down, right? So it's not just resting, it's a push in and a slight drag down. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm doing this at about a 4. So it's not a lot, but it's not nothing. There's a little bit of effort. And I can even let my mouth kind of open. It's like a Home Alone moment or a Scream moment. And once my fingertips reach somewhere that has some tension, some meat, I can just go into a little generic, gentle massage. Now, I can keep doing this thing if it feels good, or I can kind of come up to my hairline. And whether you want to do like raindrops or like a gentle scratch and itch, or just kind of like a firmer tapping, I'll let you decide. But we're going all along the hairline. So everyone's is going to be a little bit different. Right around hairline, even if your hairline's back here, like just right around hairline. You're like, I don't have hair, James. Maybe just do it like a tap, kind of all over the face. We're just waking up, invigorating, bringing some life to the face, the nerves, and the ripple effect that has throughout the rest of the body. Then we're gonna grab a hold of our ears, and we're grabbing into like the conch, the outer portion of the ear, holding onto it. We're gonna gently pull outwards and backwards. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, now we're pulling at like a 2 or a 3. It's a gentle pull out and it's a gentle pull back, right? I can do one at a time or I can do both. But we're working with here some jaw tension. And because it's allergy season for so many of us, we're working, this is a eustachian tube or like a sinus relieving practice. We're just going to hold. A couple more breaths. And then letting go. Warm your hands up again. Let's place them at the back of the neck and just let the elbows kind of drop. And my hands are just touching in the back and just kind of heavy and draping downwards. And I can let my head fall and I can let my head lift. Regardless of where I go with my head, my hands are doing that like firm, grasping, dripping, heavy handed thing. My hands are slowly moving away from each other, towards each other in the front. Just moving that head ever so gently. Then, right hand goes on the front of the left throat. As I twist my face to look to the left, big heavy hand draws to center. Left hand, right side of the throat, big heavy hand draws to center. As we go through today and always, you may notice that you are stiff, tense, feeling some kind of way in some unexpected areas. And from a body worker's perspective, what we always say is notice where the pain is. That's where the symptom is. Look elsewhere for the cause, right? So if you're like, oh, it's always the back of my neck that's tight, tense, and stiff. But as you're working, you're like, oh, there's something going on in the front. The pain is symptomizing in the back because of the tension in the front, right? The shoulders might be symptomizing because of something going on in the shoulder, but more likely something going on in the chest or the low back or even your hips or even down in your feet or in the jaw. So acknowledge that, oh, this is where I'm feeling like I need some attention, but getting curious about what else is contributing to this symptom, this signal that I may or may not prefer, right? Meaning, don't just stop where you think you need the thing, but get really curious about where else. So now I'm holding the front of my throat. I'm just gonna like do a gentle squeeze. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at about a 2. It's not a lot. Got some lymph drainage going on here, working with the neck stuff, also continuing to work with allergy symptoms and tension throughout the jaw and so on and so forth. Then I'm going to take my right hand and just trace the left collarbone right into some shoulder stuff. I can continue to chase or I can tap that collarbone. Again, got some lymph stuff going on here, also working with shoulder and neck integrity, for lack of better words. And then other side. Little tap. Right down into the chest, just doing some tapping along the chest bone, the sternum. And then I'm going to take my right hand, slide it across the chest into the armpit, and just kind of rest there. Again, working with the nervous system and how it's influencing it. Underneath that armpit, we've got a what's called a nerve plexus. It's like a imagine where a lot of highways meet and you have a lot of intersections, on ramps, off ramps. That's sort of what's happening with your nerves in the armpit area. So I can just kind of hold here. That feels good. Continue to do that. Or I can grasp a hold of that pec tissue that we've done, the pec major right here, chest muscle. And I can lift and lower. I'm almost thinking of pulling the meat away from the bone as I'm doing this. Just kind of lifting and lowering. For some of you, this might feel really important today. Or I can take and slide my fingertips kind of towards the back of the armpit. And I'll notice that, oh, my fingertips are running into my shoulder blade. My shoulder blade isn't in the back of my body. It moves. Turns out muscles and bones move. So as I lift, I might feel like, oh, there's a bone back here, and I'm going to push my fingertips into that bone, and it's the back side, it's the underneath side of your scapula, your shoulder blade, that we often think of as being in the back. If you are someone who is susceptible to numbness in the hands, to tingling in the arms, it is almost guaranteed that there is some congestion in the muscle between the shoulder blade and the ribs. So that as that arm moves, it's kind of grimy, it's sticky, it doesn't want to move as well. So we're just getting in there and kind of gently pushing it. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm pushing out about a 2 or a 3. I'm not trying to hurt, I'm not overworking the dough, just getting some movement in there. I'm not pushing into the armpit. I'm not pushing into the pec. I'm pushing into the back side of that armpit area, shoulder blade area. You got to kind of move around and look for it a bit. And then I'm just going to notice, rest for a moment, and notice any differences between the side I worked on and the other side. And then let's do the other side. Start real general, real easy, just letting the heat of my hand, the touch, do the work for me. For a lot of you, this might be enough. Like, I'm good here. Cool, be here, do this. Or you can get some movement going. Or come to the backside. Like for me over here, it's really hard to even discern where that backside is. Like it feels really tight. It feels like it's all one texture. It's really hard for my fingertips, which are educated fingertips, right? To discern where's my armpit, where's muscle, where's bone. So I don't anticipate that it's like clear and concise for you. It may feel thick, it may feel really like all one texture. And the more time you spend with it, the more you're like, oh, okay, there it is. That's what he's talking about. And rest. From there, and I'm going to scooch back just a bit. From there, I'm going to sit up tall, feet on the ground, and I'm just going to visualize allowing my sits bones, the right butt bone and the left butt bone, the pelvic bones that are underneath the meat of your rear, envisioning them getting soft and wide and more firmly planted in what it is I'm sitting on. And I'm going to just see if I can relax and let go, and as if my seat itself is getting wider. You can't make it happen, right? It's an allowing. It's a moment. Now I'm going to see if I can keep that. I'm going to see if you can keep that going. And then we're going to twist, and I'm going to take a couple of breaths. I'm asking my pelvis to stay down, widened and soft, right? Which means I'm not able to twist as much. And I'm fine with that. This is the practice for right now. And I'm going to take a couple of breaths. And come back to center. And then I'm going to do the same thing the other way. It's not how much can you twist. It's really, can I be more present in my pelvis and my feet, keeping the integrity there as I twist. Back to center. Just doing a little gentle rocking right and left. The visual here might be as if your spine has become seaweed. If you're a blade of grass, you're just sort of gently rocking and moving. Now, if you are someone who's got spine, rib, back concerns, you may want to revisit that twist. You may want to revisit this gentle rocking motion. If you are someone who wants to explore this a little more deeply, follow me into these next few practices. Again, moving back. I've got my hands. In fact, I did this once before and I was like, it's not, you got to see kind of the whole scenario. So I've got my hands on my legs. I've got my feet firmly planted. I'm sitting at the front edge of my chair just to allow for more space here. Hands go here. I'm going to let my head drop and then my upper spine drop. You can see I'm not really giving into the arms yet, right? Like I'm not just falling to the ground. I'm almost resisting a little bit. And when I have no more to give, then my arms are like still pushing against my legs to decelerate me going down. And I'm trying to round vertebra by vertebra as I'm allowing gravity to do her job and take me down, 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 down. Then I lift my head, I look up, I lift my chest, I look up, I lift all the way up. And if I'm doing cat cow, now my spine is in the shape of the cow. There's an extension. My chest is forward. My back is smaller. I'm lifting, 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 lifting. And I would fall backwards if my arms weren't connected to my legs. Hold. Head then drops forward. Arms decelerate. And I go down, 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 down. I lift up. Then I go back down. If you want to see it from the side, it looks more or less like this. One more. And relax. Now, if you're still in the twisting, the rocking, cool, do that thing. If you're in this and that feels good, cool, do that thing. If you want something else, as I go down, I'm going to twist my face to look to the right. Opposite arm. So my left arm is going to bend, and you can see that as I go down, I'm still rounding to go down. I've just added a twist. Somewhere I have to even out. I look over to the left arm lifts me, and I lift, 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 lift. I come back to center in the middle at the top, and then I go the opposite way. I look to the left. I go down, 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 down. I lift, 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 lift. Center, reverse. And keep going. Center, relax. I may want to get a little movement going. We're just looking for dynamic movement in the spine from a seated position. And when we're thinking spine, it's like the spine is where is the major bony mass that's moving. But if we look outwards, what we just got there was like movement in the stomach, movement in the vital organs, movement between the rib cage, movement in the lungs, movement of the heart, movement of the blood vessels. There's a lot going on. So you can think of it, if it's helpful to think of it as like a bone movement, right? It might be helpful for you to think of what muscle am I exercising. But when we zoom out, it's like, how am I moving my internal organs? How am I moving my blood? How am I moving my breath? What choices am I making? So that way, when you are seated at your desk all day and you're like, oh, I feel kind of stagnant. Well, yeah, because your movement pattern has been mostly stagnant for the day. And you can go for a run, you can go for a walk, you can go to the gym, you can do all of that. Those are all good choices. And you can also do a little twisting, do a little breathing, and thinking about what's moving and what's not moving. So, speaking of, let's go to the leg thing. Let's start with our usual left leg over right, and we're just going to rock. Why do I do this? Because it's so easily accessible to a lot of different people. And there's a lot of bang for your buck in this exercise. The ask for today was IT bands, and I get it. IT band for years now has been like a hot point, a thing that is foam rolled, massaged, whatever it is. Here's a little truth. Your IT band, which is fascia, it's a thick, thick, thick collagenous, heavy material that runs from your hip all the way down to the side of the leg and interdigitates with some of the ligaments and tendons of the knee and so on and so forth. That tissue is so thick, heavy. Think Kevlar, think bulletproof vest. It doesn't really get tight. It doesn't really get loose. It pretty much stays consistent. What gets tight, what makes that area uncomfortable for so many people is unbalanced hamstrings, quads, glute tissue, butt muscle, and calves. Those are all of the muscles that are pulling tug of war with that IT band. So something like this is really helping to even like balance out some of this. So start here. This usually is a perfect pathway to rebalance some of the stuff connected to IT bands and legs in general. Now, other side. And again, if you can't quite get here, you can go down, like I've got my leg kind of crisscross like this, and go here. You could even bring the soles of your feet together and kind of rock into your hips. If that's where you need to be today. We're just letting the motion do the work. Few more. Good. From there, I'm going to bring my feet forward a bit and I'm going to slide myself to the edge of my chair. These exercises that we're about to do are a little higher up the ladder of difficulty, not difficult at all for a lot of people, but I want to acknowledge that for some people, this is a shift. They also tend to work better in like a stationary solid chair versus a moving chair. They tend to work better in a hard chair versus like an ergonomic fluffy chair. You do you though. So I'm going to move my hands to the back here. Now the back could be my armrests, it could be the back, it could just be the seat. Figure out what works for you. Feet are about body distance apart, and I'm going to kind of think of squeezing my butt cheeks to lift up and then back down. Now, back when we used to do a lot of move lab here, movement oriented classes, there was a phrase we used. In order to go up, something's got to push down. I don't think of lifting my butt. I think of pushing my arms down, pushing my feet down, squeezing my butt cheeks, and I come up. And then I come back down and I relax and I go wide. Push down with my feet and my arms and back down. Feet and arms, back down. One more, feet and arms, and back down. Now, for some of you, that's enough, right? Like, cool, got it, James. For others, bring your feet together. Take your left leg. We've already been here today, right? I'm going to push down. Now, the push down. I've got my right foot on the ground. That's going to push down. Both arms are going to push down. This left leg is going to push down. Ankle into knee, knee trying to touch the floor. And I come up and back down. Up and down. Two more. Up and down. One more. Up and down. Other side. Crisscross. I'm up and I'm down. Up and I'm down. Two more. Up and down. One more. Up and down. Come all the way up to a standing. I'm going to move my chair back here. Now, I'm going to put my arms on my chair somewhere. I'm going to lift both heels up. And then I'm going to drop my right as my left knee goes forward. Both up, drop. Both up, drop, tiptoes down. Now, if that's enough, do that. Or I'm going to kind of change my orientation a bit. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to lift up and I'm going to drop and push forward. So I've got my right foot fully on the floor. My left foot is sort of lifted up, tiptoed, like an imaginary high heel, and I'm stretching forward, getting a calf stretch on my flat right foot. I come up, tiptoe, there's a squeeze going on in the calves, drop, stretch forward. I can also do this up against a wall. Up, drop, stretch. Up, drop, bend my elbows to stretch. Use your space. Stretch, one or two more. Up, drop, stretch. Up, drop, stretch. Up, drop, stretch. From there, I'm going to turn my back to the seat of my chair. And I'm going to try my best. You may want to hold on for this. It's not necessarily a balance exercise in the way we're thinking about it, but it is a balance exercise. I'm going to get my foot on top of my chair and back down. Up, down. This is getting some mental stimulation. My body's having to figure out where it is in space and how to do this thing. Up, 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 up. I'm going to go up, hold, a little bit of a drop, and back up. Little bend, get a little calf stretch. Our little quad stretch, front of your legs stretch. Other side. 2 more. Wrapping it up. Finish out with our favorite, just a little jiggle. Right side, left side. Toes, heels. Keep jiggling, keep balancing, keep bouncing. Think about what was really hard for you to do today. What was interesting for you to do today? What's the one thing you're going to practice this week that's going to change your relationship to your body and embodiment? And hopefully you'll join us on Friday. And if not, we'll see you next week. I'll stick around for whatever questions you got. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, well, that's harder than it looks. It really is. Cool. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. We always appreciate you joining us. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers. We'll be here through June. And again, join us on Fridays for Community. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.